Welcome to Football 101. In this video, I'm going to explain the very basics of American football. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you want to learn more about America's favorite sport. Let's start with player positions. Each team starts off with 11 players on the field. No matter what, every play requires 5 players on the line of scrimmage. This is your offensive line. The O-line is made up of the biggest players on the field and is arguably the most crucial position group in all of football. Without a good offensive line, the offense will have a tough time getting things done. They're responsible for protecting the quarterback on passing plays and for opening up holes for running backs on running plays. This is the center. The center is the only position in all of football that touches the ball on every single down. His job is to snap the ball to the quarterback and call out blocking assignments for other offensive linemen. On either side of the center, you have 2 guards, the left guard and the right guard. Guards serve as the lead blockers for running backs, and they're responsible for stopping defenders who are rushing the quarterback on the inside. On the outside of the offensive line, you have 2 tackles, a left tackle and a right tackle. Offensive tackles are typically the biggest guys on the O-line. On running plays, the tackles are responsible for sealing off the outside edges, and on passing plays, they have to block the best pass rushers. Offensive tackles are responsible for protecting the quarterback's blind side, which is a huge responsibility. Next, we have the tight end. A tight end is a little different. They're a hybrid position that lies somewhere between offensive lineman and wide receiver. Though they're usually considered part of the offensive line, tight ends don't have a fixed position when starting a play. Some playbooks even have multiple tight end sets to confuse defenses and provide additional pass protection. Not only do they have to be able to block incoming defenders, tight ends also have to be safety valves for the quarterback. If the wide receivers and running backs aren't open, then the quarterback can always check down and throw to a tight end on a short part of the field. On the outside of the line of scrimmage, you have your wide receivers. Wide receivers are the main targets for quarterbacks when it comes to passing plays. Offenses will usually use at least 2 wide receivers depending on which play they choose to run, but a team can play up to 5 at a time. Receivers will run routes and try to get open for passes, serve as decoys, or help out in the run game. As you would imagine, their main job is to get open and catch the ball when a pass is thrown their way. Wide receivers have to be fast, have good hands, and be able to run crisp routes even when the ball isn't thrown in their direction. Behind the line of scrimmage, you'll find your running backs. Running back is one of the most exciting, high-profile offensive position in football. Their main responsibility is to receive the handoff from the quarterback and run the ball as efficiently as possible, whether it's straight through the teeth of the defense or around the outside. Running backs have multiple job duties. They have to be ready to receive the handoff and run the ball, serve as a blocker and protect the quarterback, or run a route and catch a pass. A team can choose to deploy multiple running backs on a play if needed. And the last position on the offense is quarterback. Quarterbacks are the focal point of the offense, and they're the ones who call the shots. And more often than not, they're the leaders on the team, both on and off the field. Quarterbacks have a more direct impact on the outcome of a game than any other individual player on either side of the ball. They're often considered the most important position in all of sports. Alright, let's go to the other side of the ball. On defense, there are 2 main defensive line positions, defensive tackles and defensive ends. There are also 2 other sub-positions, and those are the nose tackles and the edge rushers. Not every team uses these sub-positions, so I'll go over that in a different video. Defensive tackles will usually line up somewhere opposite of the offensive guard, either straight across or over one of their shoulders. Defensive tackles are typically responsible for rushing through either the A gap or the B gap, and their main job is to clog up the running lanes in the interior of the offensive line. Defensive ends line up further outside on the line of scrimmage. The main difference is that defensive ends are quicker and more athletic. On passing plays, their job is to get into the backfield and cause as much disruption as they possibly can. On running plays, their goal is to not let any ball carrier get to the outside of them. Defensive linemen are some of the toughest players on the field. Behind them are linebackers. Linebackers are often thought of as the leaders of the defense, especially the middle linebacker who's responsible for calling the plays. Typically, there are 3 linebackers on the field, a Sam, a Will, and a Mike. Together, they have to cover receivers, tackle ball carriers, and make game-changing plays. On the outside of the defensive formation, we have the cornerbacks. Their main task is to cover opposing receivers and either prevent a catch or intercept any pass that goes their way. To be truly effective at their position, cornerbacks need to know how a wide receiver operates. The best cornerbacks have great instinct because there's no way for them to know what route a receiver is going to run, so they have to anticipate the plays and react as best they can. And when all else fails, you still have the safeties to rely on. The safety is one of the most challenging positions in all of football. This defensive position can be considered a hybrid between a linebacker and a cornerback. They're literally the last line of defense for a team. Their role on the field offers a vital layer of protection to a team's defensive scheme, contributing to the overall success of the game. So far, we've covered offensive positions and defensive positions, but there's still a lot more that we need to go over before you're ready to hit the field or call a live football game. So be sure to like this video and follow my channel for more Football 101.